Good afternoon. My name's Tony Chooks, and welcome to Race Matters. Today, I'm really excited to be talking about me and the police. I want to tell a story today, a positive one. As you can see, I'm a black man, and I want to tell a story about an interaction I had with a white police officer. In this day and age, we see so many stories that you've seen them on the news about a white police officer and a black male, and so many times they end in tragedy. Well, this one did not, or else I wouldn't be here. Now, I'm going to need to share a little bit about a negative interaction I had. But before I do that, I just want to tell you, I've probably had a dozen face-to-face interactions with police officers. Most of those have been with them writing me some type of citation. I've been driving for 40, 50, now 40. About 40 years. Okay, I've been driving about 40 years. So I've probably been pulled over 10 times in that amount of time and gotten tickets that I deserve to get. And then I've had several times where I've been met, one where I was met in public, that was a bad one. And then a couple times where they came to my house, and those were not positive. But I want to share this one. So again, I've had about 12 altogether, and I've had 3 that I would say were really bad. But not so bad that I'm not here, obviously. But let me just give you the background on this one so I can tell you the good part. So about 5 years ago, I was driving my car. I was going from work, and I was going to get something to eat. And I'm driving down the street, and all of a sudden, this cop, he's on the left-hand side of me. He just zooms over and pulls me over. And I'm like, man. I'm thinking, okay, when you get pulled over that quickly, you're thinking, what did I do? I'm not speeding. I don't have a broken headlight. My tires are full of air. I don't have any cracked windows, or my tags are not expired. So I don't know why he pulls me over. So of course, he's a police officer, so I pull over. And it's one of those dual things where he pulls me over, and then another guy comes to one guy comes to my side of the car, and the other guy is on the back of the car, like I'm really dangerous. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I'm kind of like a little nervous because I'm like, okay, I didn't do anything, but let's see what this guy's gonna do. So he comes to my window. I roll the window down. I think I said something like, "What can I do for you, officer?" His first question is, "Do you know Abdul?" No, I don't know Abdul. And in my mind, I'm sitting here going, license and registration, like I do have one. You want to ask me about that? Like that, isn't that what you normally ask when you stop a person? Do I know Abdul? I mean, hey, no, I know Abdul Jabbar and Abdul Rahman. One's alive, one's not. I mean, those are the only 2 Abduls I know. So I just thought that was a weird question. And he proceeds to get my license and registration and go back to his car. And the other cop still stays on the other side of me, like, I'm going to take off and run or something. And it took normally it takes, 7 or 8 minutes when you get stopped like that. But this took about 20 minutes. I'm like, what are these guys, what are they checking for? And they come back and they say, this car is got a warrant out, and the driver is Abdul so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'm like, no, I don't have any warrants out. And so finally they gave my license and registration back, and at the end I just said, hey guys, I'm just wondering, how did you know to pull me over? Like I didn't do anything. Don't you have to have a reason to pull someone over? And said, we're the police. We can do whatever we want. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you can. I didn't say that out loud, but knowing the times, I go, yeah, that's certainly true. You can do whatever you want. And then that was it. And it shook me up because I was just like, what? Why did I get treated like a criminal when I did nothing wrong? And then later I find out, well, I'll tell you the story when I get there. So that's the bad part. Let me go to the good part. So probably, I'm not sure, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that situation, I'm driving in my neighborhood. I'm like literally 200 yards from my house. And there's a police officer sitting in a car. I guess he had just written somebody a ticket, and I drove by him. And he immediately pulled me over. And he got out of his car and he came up to me and he said, before he said anything, he said, "Hey, right now my car, it's registering that you have a warrant out for your arrest." And I go, "Warrant?" He goes, "Yeah, that's what." And he explained it to me how it works. That they have some type of something on a police car where they can tell if there's a warrant for your arrest. So he told me that was out there. So I gave my license and registration, and he didn't go back to his car to look at anything. He just stayed there to talk with me. And I told him what happened, the story I just told you, and he said, "Man, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry that happened." And he was genuine in saying that. And he told me what to do. He said, "You need to go to so-and-so county." And first he looked it up, and he said, "That officer made a mistake because your license plate is one letter off from the one that he had written down. So he really shouldn't have stopped you." Of course, I didn't get any apology or anything from that police officer, and I'm not sure if he knew that he was off by one or not. But this officer told me that he was off by one. So he said, "I need to go. I need to go to some county somewhere. I don't even know where it was, but it's far from here because I don't know the area. So I would have had to drive 80, 90 miles to go to some county that I don't know and spend 3 or 4 hours in their DMV to change my license plate." And he said, "That's what you need to do." But I just thanked him. I just said, "Hey, man, thank you so much. You took the time to explain this to me. You had every reason to treat me like a criminal. I mean, it said I'm a felon. I mean, it said I have a felony warrant out for me. And I'm a black man. I'm a large black man. So you had every reason to profile me, to come up, to be rough and tough and scared of me. And you could have done that. But you treated me like a human being." I was so grateful that he did that. And to this day, I wrote him a letter. And I said, I thanked him for that. I said, "You restored my faith in police officers." And I don't think every police officer is bad. I don't think that. I do think there are some things in policing, though, that have to be challenged. And one is education. It'd be nice that if you're going to work in a neighborhood, that maybe you live there so you understand the people, that you know the people. That might be a good idea. Because sensitivity training's not doing it. I know all of you have to take sensitivity. That's not doing it. So we got to do something else. Anyway, I don't want to get into another thing. But the point is, this guy, he just restored my feeling about police officers, because that was during the time when black people, every time I was coming home from work, I'm hearing about another black person getting shot and killed by the police. And then I have my own personal situation that shook me up. And then now this guy could have really added to that. But he restored my faith in policing. And again, I know some police officers, so I know they're not all bad. But this guy went above and beyond to me. Not to him, he was probably just being himself. Like, we need more of that kind of guy on the street. We need more people like him who aren't afraid. That guy was not afraid of me. I know when a person is afraid of me. I know when a person's trying to bully me. I know when a person's trying to show that they're above me. And he did none of that. He didn't try to flash and make himself. Man, he took time to explain what I needed to do. He told me my situation. He believed me. He didn't look at me like, "Oh, you're a black guy, and this says you have a warrant, so you must be telling me a lie. You must be lying to me." He believed me. He believed when I told him what was going on. And then he found out I was telling the truth. And then he told me how to fix it. Man, I will never forget that officer. I wish I could pronounce his name. I can't. I don't know how to pronounce his name, or I would tell you his name, because I have his card. He gave me his card. And I'm just grateful. I don't know what to say. I'm so grateful for him and how he treated me. And we just need more police officers like him, because he is a special man. Thank you so much for listening.